One autumn day, specifically October 2, 2020, Madison Sparrow, a young girl, decided to meet up with her friends to enjoy some delicious ice cream. However, this seemingly innocent outing turned into a tragedy. The girl never returned home. Her mother, without wasting a minute, contacted law enforcement. Thanks to the swift actions of the police, they were able to uncover the shocking circumstances of this case. Madison Elizabeth Sparrow was born on September 12, 2003, in the city of Norfolk, Virginia, USA. Her parents were Heather Sparrow Murphy and Richard Prestige. The girl had two sisters, Molly and Wendolyn. Although information about the family is quite limited, it was discovered that Wendolyn was born in February 1999 in the city of Durango, Colorado, as a result of Richard's previous relationship. Subsequently, the family settled in Newark, New Castle County, Delaware, where these tragic events took place. On October 5, 2010, Molly was born into the family, Madison's little sister, who became her best friend. Madison adored little ones and was the eldest of 8 cousins, who simply idolized her. She always found time to play with them and put on magical shows, giving them unforgettable fun. The girl's laughter was so infectious that she was always the life of the party, radiating the joy of life. But sometimes she became withdrawn and pensive. Her father noted that from an early age she was distinguished by wisdom, observance, and the ability to think everything through before reacting. In addition, Madison was extremely loving and could lift anyone's mood with her strong hugs. Friends and loved ones appreciated her loyalty and care for those she loved. Being a curious soul, Madison was passionate about learning and experimentation. That is why she joined the Girl Scouts, a worldwide youth organization for girls. In 2012, when all the active Girl Scout troops were completely full, her mother became their first leader. At the age of 9, Madison joined the Brownie section, designed for girls aged 7 to 10. For several years, she was one of the top cookie sellers and received numerous awards for exemplary performance of her duties. During almost 10 years of being in the Girl Scouts, Madison found wonderful friends. Later, she volunteered to help in her sister Molly's troop, because she really wanted to work with youth and make a difference. She was a girl with a kind heart. She was inspired by the promise to serve God and her country, always help people, and live by the principles of the Girl Scouts. Like any young girl, Madison loved having fun, and even in her teens, she never stopped being the queen of pranks. She constantly organized parties with friends, from movie marathons to spa treatments with makeup and manicures. Madison could stay up all night, although later, of course, she couldn't wake up before 2 in the afternoon. Before graduating from elementary school, she met another key figure in this story, Anyka Stalczynski, a girl her age who was born in Newark on July 9, 2003. They quickly became close classmates and prepared for exams together. There is little information about Anyka's life, but it is known that her parents were Robert Stalczynski and Robin Kearns, and as of 2004, the family lived on Aaron Mike Drive in Newark. Anyka and Madison finished elementary school and entered middle school. There they met new friends, among whom was the third key character in this story, Noah Sharp. He was also from Newark and was born on August 23, 2001. About his background and family status, it is only known that his mother's name was Nikki Sharp and she had 2 more children, David and Brianna. The inseparable friends loved to eat ice cream together or take long walks through the vast green areas surrounding the city. But when Noah and Madison met, a spark ignited between them. And within a few months, they started a youthful romance. At first, they were madly in love with each other. However, in early 2020, after just over a year of dating, Madison decided to break up with Noah for no apparent reason. The young people parted on good terms and agreed to remain friends, but the guy was heartbroken because he still loved her. During this time, Anyka became Noah's confidant. They began to see each other more often and text almost daily. Although the young man's heart was still broken, he soon began dating another girl. Despite the relationship with his new passion, Noah did not sever ties with Madison. He even visited her on her 17th birthday on September 12, 2020, and brought a gift. That day, Heather, the birthday girl's mother, noticed that the guy was still upset about the breakup. When Anyka found out about this meeting, she was overcome with jealousy. She could not come to terms with the fact that her beloved continued to be friends with his ex-girlfriend, and her heart was filled with hatred. Offended by Noah and inflamed with growing anger, Anyka wanted to hurt Madison for not suffering as much as she did. The following week, blinded by malice and jealousy, Anyka and Noah began planning how to take Madison's life. Through text messages, FaceTime, and in-person meetings, they exchanged ideas about possible weapons and ways to dispose of the body after committing the crime. The messages that the teenagers exchanged while developing their plan were chilling and indicated their intention to make the girl suffer. Anyka suggested several options to Noah, including using a knife for a fatal blow to the heart, as well as the possibility of using a shotgun or a baseball bat. As official documents show, they quickly rejected the idea of using a shotgun due to the excessive noise it produced. Despite Noah's uncertainty, they eventually settled on the option of a blunt object. During these discussions, they also made calculations, trying to determine how many bricks would be needed to prevent Madison's body from surfacing if they decided to throw it into the water. When doubts arose, they considered the possibility of burying her, since Noah could dig a hole and knew where to get shovels. As a result, they developed a plan that they considered perfect. Madison was just as passionate about ice cream as she was about Halloween. Her cheerful spirit eagerly awaited the arrival of October all year round to celebrate her favorite holiday throughout the entire month. Anyka knew the girl's tastes very well, so on Friday, October 2, 2020, she called her with an offer to enjoy some ice cream and spend the day together. Madison agreed without hesitation. She hadn't seen her friend for a long time and wanted to buy a gift for Molly, whose birthday was in 3 days. That day, Madison dressed in black tights, denim shorts, gray boots, and a blue sweatshirt with the words, New Jersey, on it. To complete the look, she put on white ghost-shaped earrings, as Halloween was approaching. At 2:44 p.m., she said goodbye to Heather, telling her that they would see each other later, and left the house. It was the last time her mother saw her alive. A few hours later, Heather began receiving strange messages of condolence from Madison's number, which also mentioned that she was leaving the country. At first, the woman thought it was a joke, so she even replied, wishing her success in her plan and reminding her that her daughter's passport was in the safe. Heather did not receive a response, and when she tried to call, Madison did not answer. When the woman started receiving messages, she was out with Molly, taking her to scout classes and swimming. She didn't understand anything, but the lack of response made her worry. Heather decided to call Anyka, as she knew about their plans to meet in the afternoon. When the girl answered, she burst into tears and said that Madison had offended her, so she dropped her off near the mall. After that, she advised calling Noah. However, the woman had already tried to contact him, but to no avail. Then Heather asked to try calling him together. They talked, but the woman did not receive any useful information. After that, the bewildered Heather decided to return home. On the way, she received several messages from her daughter's friends, who had also received strange texts and wanted to find out what was happening. Upon returning home and looking for any clues, Heather found nothing to indicate her daughter's escape. Money and birthday gifts, as well as clothes and a credit card, everything was in Madison's room. These messages were extremely strange and made absolutely no sense. The girl had no reason to run away, especially without a bag of clothes and money. Around 8:30 p.m., when Madison still hadn't returned home, Heather called 911 and reported her daughter missing. Then she continued to contact people, but all attempts were in vain. Upon learning about what had happened, Heather's parents came from another city to support their daughter. In addition, the woman informed Madison's father, from whom she was divorced. Although he lived in Colorado, he immediately posted information on social media asking for help in finding his daughter. The next day, on Saturday, October 3, 2020, the Delaware State Police issued a gold alert regarding the disappearance of 17-year-old Madison. This notification activates all the necessary procedures for searching for a missing person. In the state of Delaware, Gold Alert is triggered in the case of a missing teenager. For 2 days, police officers, search teams, family members, and dozens of friends combed through the farmland near the University of Delaware, where Madison was last seen alive. The local media also distributed search announcements, urging people to provide any information. At the same time, the Delaware State Police began questioning Madison's friends, and all the evidence pointed to her ex-boyfriend. According to some reports, the girl headed to the wooded area behind the elementary school, where Noah was also seen on the day of her disappearance. Subsequently, the detectives detained and interrogated the guy for almost 9 hours from October 4 to 5. After a series of contradictory testimonies and insisting that he had no idea about Madison's fate, the young man finally broke down, shocking everyone with the terrible truth. The young man not only admitted that he had taken the girl's life but also stated that Anyka was his accomplice. Noah told law enforcement officers that Anyka felt hatred towards Madison due to jealousy of him. He also spoke about how painful the breakup with the girl was for him. According to Noah, Anyka drove Madison to the wooded area behind the elementary school. As they walked along the path, he hid behind the bushes, holding an aluminum baseball bat in his hands. He described to the officers how Madison was happy to communicate with her friend, not even suspecting what awaited her. And then, according to him, he suddenly jumped out of the ambush and hit the girl on the head twice. Noah confessed that he put all his strength into the second blow, adding that at that very moment he lost control. After months of accumulating anger towards the girl who broke his heart, he could not restrain himself and dealt several more blows to her body. After the attack on Madison, the couple transported the body in Anyka's car to a spot under a bridge located near the intersection of Interstate 95 and Delaware State Road, about a 15-minute drive from the crime scene and not far from a warehouse. Upon reaching the location, they tried to drown the body in the river. But when this attempt failed, they decided to hide it in a shallow grave dug at the same place. Using the information provided by the guy, the detectives thoroughly searched the area he indicated. There they found the aluminum baseball bat that served as the murder weapon and had blood stains on it. At the crime scene, they also found the clothes Madison was wearing when she left home. Some of the clothing was scorched. Then the suspect led the investigators to a wooded area at the intersection of Interstate 95 and Delaware State Road, where he and his accomplice buried the body. Junior Corporal Heather Piper reported the discovery of the body on Monday, October 5, 2020. The shock of this news stunned Madison's family, her friends, and society as a whole. A few days later, on October 9, hundreds of people gathered at the high school football field to pay tribute to the victim's memory. The autopsy showed that the cause of Madison's death was a blow to the head with a blunt object. At the same time, experts found Noah and Anyka's DNA on physical evidence seized both at the crime scene and where the body was found. Noah was charged with first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a crime, and first-degree conspiracy. He was placed in a correctional facility on $1 million bail. On Monday, November 16, 2020, more than a month after the tragic event and after processing the necessary evidence, 17-year-old Anyka was also arrested. Her arrest occurred after a New Castle County grand jury charged her with first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a felony, and first-degree conspiracy. Meanwhile, Madison's family was in a state of confusion. Heather repeatedly stated that a reasonable explanation would never be found for why her daughter's life was taken. And her main request to the court was that the criminals would never be able to harm others or themselves again. Although Noah confessed to committing the crime to detectives, during the official indictment in court, he did not plead guilty. In response, speculation arose that his defense might claim that the guy had mental disorders. During one of the preliminary hearings, the lawyer who defended his interests stated that at the time of the murder, Noah may have been suffering from schizophrenia and was under the supervision of a psychiatrist. The lawyer also claimed that approximately 3 weeks before the crime, Noah was injured in Chester County, Pennsylvania. She explained that as a result of the head injury, her client developed memory problems and other complications. However, she did not specify either the cause of the injury or its severity. Nevertheless, in May 2021, Anyka pleaded guilty to charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy. Her lawyers reached an agreement with prosecutors, according to which she agreed to testify against Noah and his intentions to take Madison's life. According to court documents, several people, including those close to the victim, informed the police that they knew about Noah's alleged alter ego, that is, a second personality. However, as the prosecutors claimed, it was Noah himself who spread this information. After 2 long years of waiting for justice, on October 20, 2022, the trial of the accused began in New Castle County. During it, about 30 witnesses were heard, most of whom were called by the Deputy Attorneys General Matt Frawley and John Downs. In the county courtroom, hours-long video recordings of Noah's interrogations by state police detectives were shown. The audience heard how the guy's stories changed until he finally confessed. The defense tried to challenge this evidence. They emphasized that the police interrogated their client for too long. Anyka's lawyer, Monica Jerome, noted that the detectives deliberately conducted the interrogation in such a manner. They whispered to Noah what to say and put pressure on him. The prosecution also provided text messages that Noah and Anyka exchanged while planning the crime. Faced with this evidence, the defense tried to convince everyone that someone else was controlling the defendant's device and that it was not him who corresponded with the girl. Noah's mother and brother were consecutively called to give testimony and contradicted each other several times. Nikki stated that her son was not wet when he returned home on the evening of October 2nd. At the same time, David claimed that his brother was wet and looked as if he had been in some swamp. Nikki reported that shortly after her son returned home, Anyka entered the house and was calm. But David, on the contrary, said that the girl entered the house with anger, slamming the door. In addition, prosecutor Matt Frawley asked Nikki if she had discussed the evidence against Noah with him. To which she replied, no. However, the prosecutors played an audio recording of telephone conversations between the defendant and his mother a month before the trial, in which they discussed the evidence captured by the elementary school surveillance cameras. In this conversation, Noah told his mother that in the video where they are walking near the school an hour before Madison's murder, his face is not visible. At which the woman rejoiced. However, the video clearly shows an African American man, similar in height and build to Noah, with a baseball bat in his hands, walking with a girl into the woods. The defense also inquired with the defendant's relatives about the head injury that the young man allegedly received on September 13, 2020. And about another unconfirmed blow he suffered when he fell off his bicycle a few hours before the police interrogation on October 4. Noah's lawyers suggested that these blows could have caused dissociative amnesia, thus trying to justify the testimony he gave. Faced with this, the prosecutors raised the question of whether the injury was simply part of a conspiracy to murder Madison, which the defense did not very confidently object to. Reportedly, Anyka confirmed all the prosecution's arguments during her testimony in court, which lasted about 3 hours. She calmly recounted how Noah convinced her that Madison was spreading rumors about her behind her back. However, the victim's relatives and loved ones emphasized that she never spoke badly of her friends. Ultimately, after 8 days of court hearings and over 250 pieces of physical evidence presented by the prosecution, it took the jury no more than 3 hours to reach a final verdict and hand it over to Judge Ferris Wharton. On Thursday, October 27, 2022, before the verdict was announced, the judge urged those present to remain calm. 22-year-old Noah Sharp was found guilty on all charges, including first-degree murder, and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thank you for watching this story. Write your thoughts about it in the comments. Don't miss the future videos, subscribe and like the channel. Take care of yourself and people you love.